Welcome back. I hope that you are all each able to find a beautiful power spot and that you feel really good about it. If you find that you were unable to find the power spot or were confused between two different power spots, know that that was absolutely a normal thing to experience. You may choose to go back and do that process again, just so that you feel really clear about where your power spot is. So as we go into this next journey, knowing that power spot and being really clear about where you're going in your imagination is going to be really important. So if you need to go back, do that now. Otherwise, again, we're going to make ourselves comfortable. The one thing you will need for this journey is your crystal. So as opposed to the last one, which was a guided meditation, what we're now going to go into is the shamanic journey itself. So once again, we're going to go through the process of taking ourselves back to that power spot. And the process is a little different this time because now you know where it is. So in your imagination, you're simply going to place yourself at your power spot. Now, some women find they really like the process of rising up and finding their way to their power spot, that they find that that's a really helpful thing. So if you find that that's helpful for you, absolutely you can do that anytime. So for today though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to assume that you know where that power spot is and that you can find your way there easily. And so we're going to begin at that tree. So what I want you to do is take a moment to get yourself comfortable. I want you to hold your crystal in your left hand, which is the feminine side of the body, and maybe perhaps cover your eyes with a scarf. So for this journey, I'm going to be using my drum, and I'm going to be drumming a 2-2 rhythm. The 2-2 rhythm is the rhythm required to evoke a light trance-like state. And I'm going to drum for you the shamanic drum beat for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to call you back. The callback is very important because it allows us to come back into our body. The callback is just simply a change in the beat of the drum. So you'll simply hear me change up the drum beat. When I do that, at that time, you're going to thank your animal guide and you're going to bring yourself back. But I will guide you through this first time. And again, you may choose to do this a few times. So if for whatever reason the first time doesn't feel like you were really able to get as deep, that's absolutely okay. Luckily, you have the video to experience as many times as you need to, and access to me to ask any questions you need to as well. So for this shamanic journey, I'm going to be guiding you down into the lower earth realm. When you get down to that beautiful lower earth realm, you're going to stand at that beautiful opening and you're going to call in your animal guide. I will lead you through this process, and the next time you go through this process, hopefully it'll be a little bit easier. So we will begin. So getting yourself comfortable, laying with your eyes closed. I just want you to take a few nice deep cleansing breaths into your body. And using your imagination, I want you to imagine yourself sitting at that beautiful tree in your power spot. I want you to imagine the tree holding your weary bones. And once again, I want you to set your gaze down towards the roots to see if perhaps there is an opening there, an opening where a small animal might have burrowed. In a moment, I'm going to begin beating my drum, and I want you to allow yourself to drop down into the lower earth realm. Perhaps it will appear to you as a tunnel, or perhaps you will climb down through the roots. But there will come this moment where you come out into the lower earth realm, and it looks exactly like this beautiful earth that we know, except it's even more spectacular. It's even more beautiful than you ever could have imagined. When you know you've gotten down to that lower earth realm, I want you to pause there for a moment and just really take it in. I will continue playing the drum for you. And as you stand in this lower earth realm, I want you to find a place that is quite high up. I want you to imagine yourself climbing a mountain, which again, defying all odds, may take only a very short time. And as you stand on this beautiful mountain edge, imagine that you can see an ocean and a forest. Perhaps you can see the desert. I want you to be able to see all the different realms that the earth has to offer. And this is because I want you to be able to have access to all the different kinds of animals that reside on earth. The two-leggeds and the winged ones, the ones of fin, so that any animal guide can step forward to work with you. Most of us tend to think of the big heavy hitters such as bears or wolves, but really, our animal guide is a beautiful and deep reflection of who we are. And so you may find yourself with a tiny little field mouse or something that you would never have expected. Usually it is the unexpected that allows us to know that we've authentically found our animal guide. So from this high up place where you can see all of the birds and all of the different animals, all of this beautiful big world, I want you to stand there and call to your animal guide. Let them know that you would wish to be reunited with them. For some of you, the moment you go into the shamanic journey, you will see an animal right there, right in front of your face. At this point, you will ask the animal, "Are you my guide?" If your animal says yes, you know that this is indeed meant to be your guide. If the animal fades away or disappears, that's okay. Just keep looking. Allow yourself to be open to whatever animal might come forward, from a whale all the way through till a parrot or a butterfly. The whole world is open to us, so we never want to limit any animal that wants to come and work with us. Once that animal guide is reunited with you, spend a moment getting to know your guide. Perhaps you will swim around with them or fly with them. Perhaps they will enwrap you in a great big hug. Perhaps they'll tell you their name or impart some wisdom teachings upon you. Just know that there will be a very short time with them for this first journey. And when the drum beat changes, know to thank your guide and tell them that you will be back, for they will be very excited to be reunited with you. And so we begin the shamanic journey leaning against our tree. Imagine ourselves going down into the lower earth realm. Follow the sound of the drum. Welcome back. Some of you may have lots of questions going on, or some of you may feel like really excited because of the animal guide that came to work with you. What I would like you to do between now and the next video, which is a very different type of video, is to take at least one other journey. And this is where the crystal comes into play. So now you've all held that crystal in your left hand for your very first journey. So the energy of that journey is with you in your crystal. What I would like you to do for this next journey that you're going to take is I want you to once again journey into the lower earth realm and call on your animal guide. Again, I want you to be holding the crystal in your hand. Except this time, I want you to ask your guide to blow some of their essence into the crystal for you. So this is going to happen in the journey realm. Your animal guide will maybe take your hand and cup it around, and they're going to blow some of their essence into that crystal for you. And then that crystal goes into your medicine pouch so that you have that essence of your animal guide with you at all times. These first few journeys are very tender for all of us. There may be lots of questions, there may be feelings like we're not doing it right. Chances are, if you've come back with an animal that isn't one of those great big heavy hitters, bear, wolf, owl, eagle, chances are you've got something truly authentic. Not saying that if you got a bear, it's not authentic, but those heavy hitters are things that we often all think of. And when we come back with parrots and mice and skunks and badgers and all sorts of animals like that, or not suggesting you'll have more than one, you'll only have one, but usually those are authentic representations of an animal that's very perfect for us. Perhaps you'll start to remember associations or times where you've had experiences with that animal and everything clicks into place and it makes sense. Perhaps you've got images of elephants all over your house and you hadn't even noticed until an elephant stepped forward to be your animal guide. So what I want you to do in this beautiful tender time before you even go to the next video is to journey as much as you need to see if you can find that animal guide. I've also provided you with a 5-minute shamanic drumming track so that if you don't want to watch the video or fast forward it, but you would rather just try to go into the shamanic journey, you can just click that audio and listen to that 5 minutes of shamanic drumming and then the call back into your body. If you have found a guide and you feel excited and happy to work with that guide, do the second journey, have them blow the essence into your crystal. They might have a name, they might have wisdom teachings for you. I recommend you journey with your guide as much as possible. So a little bit about journeying with shamanic guides. Much like our friends, we never want to just pick up the phone and then say nothing. So when we journey into the shamanic realm with no reason at all, with no intent for what we're going there for, it's kind of like picking up the phone, calling a friend, and then as they say hello, hello, saying nothing to them. So even if your intent is, hi, I just want to get to know you better, I'm just learning how to journey, that's good enough. As long as you're letting them know why you're there. So you're going to journey down through that tree to the lower earth realm. It's going to open up before you. Sometimes our animal guides will swoop in and just take us on a journey and show us all sorts of wonderful things right away. Sometimes it's a little bit harder. So really go easy with yourself. Access this video as many times as you need. Go straight to the audio where it's just the straight drumming track for 5 minutes. Start printing off images of your animal guide. The internet is a wonderful place. Another really great place is souvenir shops. They make little postcards with all sorts of beautiful images of animals on them. Perhaps you have an animal card deck. You might pick your animal out of that and set it on a little altar. What we want to do is be starting to bring that animal guide's medicine and energy into our realm with us. The one thing I always recommend not to do is to not go straight to books. The first thing we usually want to do is go straight to Animal Speak or one of those books that tells us what our animal means. Before we do that, always try to take a moment just to see or feel into what your animal guide means to you personally first. You know, what does it mean that you have a mouse? What does mouse represent to you? What are the characteristics of your personality or your place in your life right now, or the medicine of mouse that's bringing to you? And really sit with that first. And then, of course, you can go and read the books. But again, The books were just written by other humans. So if you read something about your animal guide that throws you off or completely doesn't resonate for you, that doesn't mean your animal guide means anything less to you. It's just another human's perspective on that animal guide. Sometimes those books can be deeply validating. We read them and we see ourselves in that description. And so that's a really wonderful thing to do. But please try to do that last before we hit the sacred holy Google or those books. So your homework is to journey with your guide as much as possible. Try to exercise that muscle of shamanic journeying. Email me if you have any questions. I'll probably want to get on the phone with you or Skype because that's such an easier way to have a dialogue. I am 110% accessible to you all at all times as you learn this process of journeying. And that's because the journey realm is very important to our entire course together. You're going to be journeying once a month with your animal guides. And so it's very important that this is something you feel comfortable with and feel like you have been successful at. Okay, so I'm going to sign off and get working that third beautiful video, which is actually an initiation into the sacred grove. And I will talk a little bit about that more in a moment.